Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Savance, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Well, today we've got a pretty interesting show for y'all, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So as you guys know, early this year, when Shannon Sharpe joined ESPN, he was the hottest thing in sports media, man. And when he went there, they were having like record-breaking numbers, like insane viewership numbers. I remember, like it was yesterday, the weekend before Shannon had his debut show on his debut appearance rather on First Take. They dropped an episode of him and Stephen A. Smith on Shannon Sharpe's podcast, and they were arguing about like the GOAT and all of that. And I remember that podcast getting like 1 million plus views, and it was just crazy, right? And they had great success. And then Shannon went on there. He fit in with the show seamlessly. He seems to be able to fit in wherever he goes in terms of his personality. And they had excellent numbers together, right? And everything looked like it was riding high. I think ESPN had offered Shannon Sharpe a new contract. We were also hearing rumors of could he be the successor to Stephen A. Smith on ESPN First Take, because Stephen A. Smith, we had been hearing, had dreams of doing late night and all that. So everything was going in a positive direction. Then all hell broke loose when that lawsuit came out from, I don't remember the OnlyFans model's name. And then next thing you know, Shannon stepped away from the show. And from then it was just downhill. He never made it back on ESPN. I thought he would. People told me Charles was being extremely naive, so he never made it there. Then I think he had to pay out a reported $20-something million to this OnlyFans model, and then it was just a mess, right? It was just a mess. And in the aftermath of all of that, people are like, well, what about Stephen A. Smith, man? What is Stephen A. Smith going to do? Is he going to put in a good word? He's going to get Shannon back on it, like blah, 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 blah. Everybody was talking about. So this morning I came across an article here from Awful Announcement stating, Stephen A. Smith misses Shannon Sharpe on First Take. Anything I can do, I will do. I miss my brother, Shannon Sharpe. He did a great job on First Take with me. And this article was published yesterday. It says ESPN parted ways with Shannon Sharpe after the sexual assault lawsuit against him, but Stephen A. Smith insists it wasn't his decision. Shannon Sharpe was accused of sexual assault early this year and opted to step away from his ESPN responsibilities. But after settling for the $50 million lawsuit with the accuser, ESPN decided to cut ties with Shannon Sharpe. During Stephen A. Smith's Friday afternoon show on SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, a caller questioned why Donald Trump can be president of the United States as a convicted felon, but Shannon Sharpe can't be on First Take. According to Smith, despite having editorial control over First Take, he didn't have any control over Sharpe's status with the network. Certain decisions are above my pay grade, Smith claimed, but I miss my brother, Shannon Sharpe. He did a great job on First Take with me personally. Just like I thought he did a great job when he was on FS1 with Skip Bayless. Just like I think he's doing a great job on his Club Shay Shay and Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco, who I think is made for television. He will always be a friend. He'll always have a friend in me. I'll always be here for him. Anything I can do, I will do. But there's certain things I have no control over, and that's just the situation that it is. But Shannon and I talk often. I call and check on him every chance I can, and I'm always rooting for him, and I'm always going to root for him. Smith was very vocal about pushing for Sharpe to join him on First Take after he was let go by Fox Sports in 2023. But he was less vocal about wanting to keep Sharpe at ESPN amid the sexual assault scandal, even after the Pro Football Hall of Fame player settled the lawsuit. In the aftermath of Sharpe being accused of sexual assault back in April, Smith proceeded with caution when he addressed the situation, leaning on an unofficial statement from Jimmy Paterio and leading many to wonder whether he even wanted Sharpe back on First Take. In comparison, Smith was very vocal about wanting to keep Michael Irvin 2 years ago when the former Dallas Cowboy receiver was undergoing a legal matter of his own. Despite Smith insisting he wanted Irvin back, ESPN didn't oblige. But 2 years later, and with the legal matter long behind him, Irving is starting to make select appearances on First Take again. And then the article then goes on to say a few other things. If you guys want to read the rest of it, you can go over there as well. So you heard what the article had to say. What are my thoughts about this? You're damn right. Stephen A. Smith still wants Shannon Sharpe on the show. Did you see the number? Did I not just? I mean, didn't we do shows about this? I mean, there were certain days, man, they would get like 800,000 viewers to FS1's like 75,000. Just crazy stuff, right? Crazy stuff. So obviously he would want him back there from a rating standpoint. They seem to have some type of synergy between the two of them. Like they got along well, it seems. We saw them at various events, traveling to various places, like to go watch Deion Sanders coach some football games. So these guys seem to have a general, like a generally positive rapport with one another. So of course you would want him there because it would help his show. But Shannon also said, to Stephen A. Smith's credit, about a week or two ago, when he was talking about people that kind of just stepped away from him after the Ray Lewis comments, he said one of the people that stood in his corner was Stephen A. Smith. He did say Stephen A. Smith would reach out to him periodically to check on him and all of that. So it seems like, you know, Stephen A. Smith is still showing his support to Shannon Sharpe. But the article brought up an interesting point at the end where they discussed Michael Irvin, because I remember the Michael Irvin situation, right? And a lot of people at the time were like, bro, yeah, you guys acted too soon because no information had come out. They just already assumed that Michael Irvin was the guilty party. But I think what happened at that time was ESPN and other networks didn't want to have their names connected to such a story. And ultimately, as the article said, that he did come back. But here's the situation. Here's the difference with the Michael Irvin situation and this one. The Michael Irvin situation was nowhere near as gory as the Shannon Sharpe situation. That was just something like in a hallway. We saw the video, right? Whereas this one, you had actual things that were going down. You had audios that were being released on the internet. Like, it was much, much worse. And I think ESPN was looking at it from the vantage point of, if we don't separate ourselves from this, will it get worse? With a new audio drop, right? So as every audio dropped, it was almost putting pressure on the network to do something, right? Because even though they may support him, he was working for ESPN, which is owned by Disney. And you can't have a Disney staff member connected to such a story. I mean, it was too much. So you can understand why ESPN decided to part ways, right? And I think maybe Stephen A. Smith didn't have enough power because, truth be told, he didn't bring back Michael Irvin immediately. Now, does this mean that Shannon Sharpe won't return in the future? People generally forget things. You know, people generally forget things. And he wouldn't be the first guy that had a situation and then later on bounced back from it. He wouldn't be the first one, right? So there could be a future where Shannon Sharpe does show up on ESPN again. I wouldn't be surprised by it, but I don't think it'll be right now because the wound is just too soon. It's too soon, but I wouldn't rule that out, right? I wouldn't rule it out. So what I want to know from the audience is simply this. What do you think about what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Shannon Sharpe? Number one. And number two, do you think there's a possibility that Shannon Sharpe could return to ESPN in the future? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show and I'm out. Peace.